Welcome to Character Conversions, where I bring fictional characters to life in D&D. Today I will be making the one who stands at the pinnacle of all races, the Lion's Den of Pride, Escanor. For stats, I'll be using the standard array. Strength will be starting at 14. Escanor is very strong, obviously, but for sure his strength won't be staying here for long. Dexterity will be 13. Escanor isn't shown to be dexterous, but is far from a lumbering giant. Constitution will be 15. Rather than being impervious to most attacks like in the anime, we want to replicate this by having the largest pool of hit points possible and taking the damage. Intelligence will be 12. You enjoy a good poem in your spare time and are a knowledgeable bartender. Wisdom will be 10. All that pride kinda goes to your head. Charisma will be an 8. You're either a bombastic giant or a shrieking shrimp most of the time, so not very many people will want to like you right away. Moving on to race, Escanor in the source material is a human with a piece of divine energy inside of him. This is best represented by the Aasimar race. Baseline, this increases his charisma from an 8 to a 10. Charisma is not really important to our build, but if you're walking around claiming to be the one who stands at the pinnacle of all races, it is nice to have no stats below 10. Aasimar gives us 60 feet of dark vision. Our celestial resistance gives us resistance to necrotic and radiant damage. Healing Hands allows us to heal someone as an action a number of HP equal to our level, but only once per long rest. Lightbearer gives us the light cantrip, and we naturally speak, read, and write both common and celestial. The perfect choice for our subrace is Scourge Aasimar, who are described as being imbued with a divine energy that blazes intensely within them. Scourge Aasimar increases our constitution to 16 and grants us radiant consumption at 3rd level. This will allow us to release the divine energy inside us for 1 minute once per long rest. The transformation will cause us to shed bright light in 10-foot radius and dim light for an additional 10 feet. And each creature within 10 feet of us at the end of our turns will take radiant damage equal to half our level rounded down. In addition, once each turn we can deal additional radiant damage on an attack or spell equal to our level. Only being able to do this once per long rest is a good representation of becoming the one, and we'll likely combine it with other abilities to boost our damage output. Escanor was nobility originally until the day his power awoke and he broke his brother's arm. He was hunted by the military and therefore grew up primarily in seclusion. For these reasons, we will be taking the Outlander background. This grants us proficiency in the athletics and survival skills and one musical instrument. If using the Tasha's Cauldron proficiency swaps, you should trade the musical instrument for brewer's supplies. We also gain an additional language of choice. We also gain the Wanderer feature, allowing us to always recall the general layout of terrain, settlements, and other features around us. In addition, we will be able to provide food and water for ourselves and up to 5 people so long as the GM deems the land capable of providing. Escanor will be crafted with 2 classes. Starting off, we take our first level in Barbarian. This gives us a d12 hit die and proficiency in strength and constitution saves. For skills, we will choose Intimidation and Perception. While our charisma isn't that high, many GMs are willing to allow you to use strength for intimidation checks, so do not forget that. For a weapon, I recommend the Great Axe. It is a 2-handed weapon, so just flavor it as you're strong enough to wield it one-handed. You don't use a shield, so it's aesthetics anyway. Now as a first level barbarian, we gain our rage ability. Now Escanor is not a raging beast, so you should reflavor this as being prideful. We also gain unarmored defense, calculating our AC with dexterity and constitution modifiers. This is very useful because now we get to raise our AC and our hit points at the same time. At 2nd level, we gain reckless attack, allowing us to attack with advantage if we allow our enemies to target us with advantage. Of course we will do this with all attacks, as if we don't, our lesser opponents won't stand a chance at all, now will they? We also gain Danger Sense, giving us advantage on dexterity saves versus effects we are aware of. For 3rd level, we select our primal path, and we are going with Path of the Totem Warrior for this. Spirit Seeker gives the ability to cast the Beast Sense and speak with animal spells, but only as rituals. We then choose our Totem Spirit. We are going to choose the bear, reflavoring it as a lion, represented by the lion tattoo on our back. This will give us resistance to all damage while we show our pride, except for psychic damage. At 4th level, we will now switch to our 2nd class, Fighter. We'll gain a fighting style for Escanor. We will go with Great Weapon Fighting, allowing us to reroll 1s and 2s on damage with our axe. Alternatively, one can go with Unarmed Fighting for when our pride tells us the axe is unnecessary. We also gain Second Wind, allowing us to heal ourselves with a bonus action a number of hit points equal to 1d10 plus your fighter level. At 5th level, we gain Action Surge, allowing us to take an additional action on our turns once per long rest. At 6th level, we now take our archetype for Fighter, and we're going to go with Eldritch Knight. This gives us 2 cantrips from the wizard spell list and 3 first level spells known. Now with our somewhat lower intelligence, it's important to carefully select our spells. We don't want to rely heavily on our casting stat. For our cantrips, we're going to go with Green Flame Blade and Booming Blade. Both of these cantrips rely on weapon attacks rather than spell attack rolls, making them perfect for us. 2 of our first level spells have to come from Abjuration or Evocation schools of magic, so first we go with Shield. Very helpful for when you want to make sure a 10 Commandments blows don't quite hit home. Then we will take Absorb Elements for some added defense, and finally Jump for when we want to show off our leg muscles. At 7th level, we gain an ability score improvement. We will trade this in for the Great Weapon Master feat. Now by taking a -5 penalty to attack rolls, we increase our damage by 10. In addition, when we reduce a creature to 0 hit points or score a critical hit, we can make an additional melee attack as a bonus action. Combo all of this with Reckless Attack for some very serious damage output. We also gain another first level spell. Take Burning Hands. While Burning Hands relies a bit on our intelligence, it will still be useful for attacking groups of enemies when our axe just won't do. 8th level gives us extra attack, allowing us to make 2 attacks with the attack action instead of 1. At 9th level, we gain an ability score improvement. One might think it best to increase strength first, but for now I suggest increasing constitution. It will increase our HP and our AC, as opposed to strength, which will just give us a little bit more damage. 10th level gives us War Magic. Now if we use a cantrip to attack, we get to make a weapon attack as a bonus action. We also gain our first 2nd level spell. Let's pick up another area effect spell like Agonizar's Scorcher. At 11th level, we gain another ability score improvement. We're going to put it in Constitution again, capping it at 20. This level also allows us to learn a 2nd level spell outside of Abjuration and Evocation, so we're going to pick up Enlarge/Reduce to represent just how gigantic Escanor is. Maybe save this spell for when you want to become the One. Now at 12th level, we gain Indomitable. This allows us to reroll a failed save, taking the new result once per long rest. 13th level gives us Eldritch Strike, meaning now when we hit a creature with a weapon attack, the creature will have disadvantage on saves against the next spell we cast before the end of our next turn. We also gain another 2nd level spell at this level, and for that we're going to go with Scorching Ray. 14th level gives us our 2nd extra attack, totaling 3 when we make an attack action. We gain another 2nd level spell this level, and I was torn between Shatter and Warding Wind. I decided to go with Shatter as it's just more offensive, and flavor-wise, I can see Escanor attacking so fast he breaks the sound barrier or something along those lines. 15th level sees us again another ability score increase, which we will put in Strength, giving us a 16. At 16th level, we gain a 2nd use of Indomitable each long rest and our first 3rd level spell, which is going to be, you guessed it, Fireball, or as we're going to call it, Cruel Sun. 17th level, we will gain another ability score improvement and increase our strength to 18. Our next 3rd level spell is the final one that can be taken outside Abjuration and Evocation, so I'm going to go with Haste. Though it will compete for our concentration with Enlarge, it's still a good spell to have access to in my opinion. 18th level, we gain Arcane Charge, allowing us to teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see when you use your action surge. Personally, I only find this moderately useful for Escanor. It won't be getting used to retreat, we're too proud to do that, but perhaps it will help us close the gap quicker. Our final ability score improvement hits us at level 19, and we're going to cap our strength at 20. And for our final 3rd level spell, the only fire-related spell left is Flame Arrows, but we don't use a bow, so instead we're going to take some liberties and take Counterspell. Flavor-wise, Escanor is just cutting through magic rather than actually countering it or something of the sort. And finally, at 20th level, we're rather mundane, as we simply gain additional use of both Action Surge and Indomitable. End result is an AC of 16, averaging HP you'll probably have around 218 hit points, 3 rages a day, that will half all damage but psychic, and plus 2 damage while raging. Our damage output with just the Axe and Great Weapon Master should average out to about 23 a hit, only climbing with the use of spells like Green Flame Blade and Booming Blade. Magic items to keep an eye out for are Belts of Strength. If you can get one early on, you could even switch ability score increases from Strength to Dex, or boost some of your pitiful mental abilities. You also want to get your hands on a magical Great Axe. A Vicious Great Axe could especially help since it deals more damage on crits, and with Reckless Attack, you are more likely to crit more often. Roleplay-wise, it's really up to you. There's no way to replicate how Escanor grows in power during the day and gets weaker during the night. You could perhaps say you're only in the larger Escanor form while you're raging, or only in battle entirely. It's really up to you and what you think will work with your campaign, as well as what you'll have the most fun playing as. I hope you had fun with this build, and when you rage, show your pride, be sure to ask your opponent who decided that.